I could be having the worst day ever, and I just go to a meeting, and as soon as I get to a meeting, I'm welcomed by a smile, a friendly face, a familiar face, and I just know everything's going to be okay. I think I needed all the lights on. There we go. That's a bit better. So, today's episode, I actually have had a break from doing this. Well, not a big break, but I just needed a little break. I've had so much going on with work, viewing houses, life, family, relationships, everything's just been going on. So I just needed a little time out. But I'm back, and I've got some free exciting episodes for you regarding recovery, life and recovery, addiction, all of that malarkey. So today's question for this episode is, what made me feel comfortable in NA and going to a meeting, and also what didn't. So first of all, for me, I've only had one experience where I've not felt comfortable in NA, and that was due to a breakup that I had because I was going out with somebody in the fellowship, and it was very intense, that breakup, and a lot of people within NA got involved. And I think the thing is, you've got to remember, addicts, we love drama, we love chaos, so it's just the way it is. We love it. Do you know what I mean? And it takes us out of our own shit, really, so we latch onto other people's. And I think with that breakup, it really made me realize that I use the meetings now to share about my recovery journey, and I use my sponsor, or I use my fellows that are very close to me, as in my circle, my inner circle of who I actually speak to regarding what's going on in my life. I don't really divulge everything and anything that's going on in my life now in NA, which is what I did at the beginning. I think a lot of people go to these meetings and see it as a therapy session, when in reality, yes, it is. You should go to these meeting rooms and you should share where you're at, but you also need to remember you are in a room full of people that you may not know, especially in your early recovery. So that's why it's so key to get that sponsor and build that relationship with your sponsor, and also build those connections, the people that you can really trust, because you can't trust everybody. And if there's a room full of 50 addicts, let's be real now, you can't trust them all. So if you're anything like me, you don't want your dirty laundry out everywhere. Obviously, I share my stuff here, but even with you guys, there's a limit of what I will share online. So I think that's the biggest thing for me that put me off NA, was going through people speaking about my relationship. But it's like that in the real world. Do you know, it's not just specifically NA. That would happen wherever you go. It's us bloody, it's not even just us addicts, it's us humans. Especially with reality TV show and everything like that, everyone loves the fucking drama. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't nice. But the good stuff about NA and how welcoming it really is, because even in all of that time, I knew I could go to different meetings, because there's so many meetings across Greater Manchester. I went to different meetings, I switched everything up, and I was able to go and keep going to meetings because I was welcome in every meeting. It didn't matter about the drama that was going on. It was up to me. I could either go to those meetings where my ex was and his mates were there, and it would just cause stuff, and I would be a person, pardon me, sorry, I would go to those meetings and I know drama would follow me. So it was down to me to make a choice, and I started to make those choices by changing my meetings. And then because I changed my meetings, I was welcome, obviously, because when anyone's struggling with anything that's going on in your life, that this is your safe space. And it was my safe space. It wasn't the rooms, it wasn't the meetings that made me feel unsafe. It was just certain people. And that is what I would find in the real world. I hope that makes sense. But the good thing about NA and the things that make me still keep coming back is the connections. I've made lifelong friends in NA that I love so much. I have gained another relationship within NA where it has opened me up so much into this relationship has just completely made me get rid of a lot of shame that I had carrying, and it's allowed me to be my true self, and I would never have found that without the rooms. Another thing, and my best mates that I've found in my rooms, like I've said in a couple of episodes, the connections that you get in NA are next level, and you won't get that in the real world because you talk about your real inner stuff. It's just so much more deeper, those relationships that you have. And that's why I just always keep coming back, because I miss the people. I miss even the people that I don't see often or I don't speak that often. As soon as I get into the room and I see those faces and we have a smile, we have a wave, we ask each other if we want a cup of tea, we ask each other how we are and all of that stuff. It's just makes you feel so warm and like you're at home. I could be having the worst day ever and I just go to a meeting, and as soon as I get to a meeting, I'm welcomed by a smile, a friendly face, a familiar face, and I just know everything's going to be okay. And I think that is one of the biggest things that keeps me coming back. Another thing is, I think as well, it's that routine. Because my life was so chaotic in addiction, having a place where the same readings are read every single meeting, it's the same structure, it just makes you feel grounded, and that peace that you get as soon as you walk into a meeting room. Well, for me anyway, I just get instant like that. It's just like, oh, right, home. Do you know what I mean? I'm with like-minded people. They know I will be able to say anything to these people, whether I do give them surface, they'll still understand. They get it. And then obviously at break time, when I actually can chat to my fellows, like my inner circle, then I just know that they're all going to get it. And I can't get that from anybody out in the real world. It just doesn't happen. So it's the connection, it's that peace, it's that routine, that structure. It just makes me feel completely grounded. And it just also another thing as well. To be fair, the list can go fucking on and on and on with why I love NA meetings. And what keeps bringing me back is seeing newcomers at a meeting, especially Ketamine Anonymous, the fellowship that I set up. That is my drug of choice. So seeing newcomers come in, and it just is the biggest reminder for me that I do not want to go back to that place. And then also being able to share to them and say, look, I was in your position. I know exactly what you're going through. I know that fucking pain that you're in right now, but I promise you things will get better. And then you see them a week after and you can see it in their eyes. Like they're just slowly, slightly coming back to life. That light inside of them is coming back. It is the most beautiful experience, is seeing newcomers come back to a meeting and you can see this change within them. Oh, it's beautiful. So it's definitely connection. What is it? Connection, seeing familiar faces, seeing smiles, feeling grounded, getting that peace from the meetings, and then obviously seeing newcomers and being a big reminder of where I don't want to go, but also giving hope to them that there is another way to live your life. But the negatives and the things that would put me off would be oversharing. I think now I've learned from my mistakes is you share a message about recovery, your experience, strength, and hope in a recovery meeting. But what's really, really going on in your life, the details, that's for your sponsor and for your best mate or your partner or your mum and dad. Do you know what I mean? Like your people. That would be my one lesson to give from my own mistakes. But apart from that, just I love them and I will always keep coming back. But I look forward to speaking to you soon. I'm going to do a live this week, and then I've got a couple more videos to put out. So I'm going to do the live about the rave that I went to at the weekend that's just gone. So if you are watching this, make sure you tune in on Saturday lunchtime when I'm going to do my live. So yeah, thanks. Bye.